Welcome to my journey through the Bible. This will be applications you can apply to your life and a little more in depth about the chapter. We are in 2 Kings chapter 24, verses 1 through 20. Now we see that the Babylon army was ready to crush any rebellion as soon as it got started. Now, even though the king's son had taken his place and he was only able to reign for a few months, shortly after taking his reign, he was faced by a mighty army that came in and took him captive and basically took everything of value out of their church, out of their worship temple, out of the king's house. They took all the men and women of value and they only left the very poor so that they could maintain the land. Judah was a very strong nation. As long as they obeyed God, God was fighting for them. God was keeping them safe. God was going to go before them with every single battle. But as they rebelled, as they pushed God out of their life, they began to lose everything that they held of value. Now, as we continue to read in the Bible, we will see that God will return his people back to Judah, but it was going to take time, and there was going to be hearts that was going to need to be changed, and so that they could have God's will present in their life once again. Now, I think in our lives, a lot of times when things are going good, people tend to push God out of their life. They think, oh, I'm doing so good. What do I need him for? But you're doing good because God was with you. God was beside you. He was guiding you. He was going before you to make your path smooth. And he was fighting on your side. And we have to remember that God is the one that gives us everything that we have. But somewhere along the way, we start to think, oh, I did this. I was smart enough to create all of this. When really, it was not us. It was God that had did that. And then because we are so arrogant and we think that we did it all on our own, we begin to start making some other choices. And this is without consulting God with this. And then we wonder why. Why am I in debt? Why am I divorced? Why am I losing my job? Why am I losing my family? Why is my life a mess and so out of control? But if we want to bring things back into order, then we have to come back to God. We have to live within God's guidelines and God's standards. Now, when we come back to God, he's going to forgive us and he is going to help us daily with our walk. And yeah, we're still going to have some hard times that we face because there's going to be lessons that we need to learn. But God is going to be beside us every step of the way. And he will help us through whatever we face in life. Now, God gives us everything we have. And if we misuse the things that he gives us, he may decide to take those things away from us. If we use them wisely, then he may give us even more things. But we have to remember that we are absolutely nothing without God. But with God, we have everything we need and then some. May God be with you in everything, in every way.